Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I want to talk about something pretty cool, pretty obscure, and I don't know if it's because of laws or just lack of interest or, whatever the case may be, but a very specific skill, a very specific hobby, I guess you will. And just to umbrella it, it's fiberglass car kits. And I don't primarily want to talk about the ones where you can buy the body and then you just slam it down on a VW pan with the drivetrain and all that. Yeah, we will be talking about those as well because, unfortunately, the majority of the information I can find out there, this right here, the Brubaker box. And most people who, in my generation, who are at least into cars, maybe a little, probably know what the Brubaker box is. Maybe not by name, but regardless. But what started this whole thing is way back in the day, and I'm talking about, well, way back. I'm talking about the maybe 2008, 2009, doesn't matter. I'm out there on the internet, and I'm searching around for something. I don't even remember what I was looking at, but I came across an article from a magazine, and I think it was like a Popular Science style magazine. Might even been that one. I don't think it was an automotive magazine. But it showed this really badass trike, the old school, with the big hand and the huge fiberglass body in the back and everything. I assumed it was going to be a VW platform. It turned out that this was actually an electric bike. You had like 8 or so car batteries, and it had this big thing. We're not talking about EVs. We're not here to talk about that. More importantly, it was the plans to build the entire thing. I'm talking the tubing. Fiberglass dimensions. Basically, you take some insulation foam, the hard, rigid stuff you can buy at Home Depot. It's usually pink or blue or whatever. Not the shit with the little. I'm talking about the rigid stuff that you can carve nicely. And you would create this form around a metal tube box, and then you would slather the hell out of it with fiberglass, and you would build yourself essentially a custom kit car. And these plans were in magazines, or you could buy them on the newsstand or something like that. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the idea of doing this. And I hate that we don't do it anymore. I'm sure there's 100 reasons. We don't really necessarily need to talk about that. I just want to talk about the concept of it and show a couple of examples. And unfortunately, I don't know what to search. I've searched so many different things. And I've found a few examples of what I'm talking about, and we'll get to it. So most people, when they think of a VW project, they think of probably a dune buggy, with the big fiberglass body. I think of stuff like this right here. So let's move on. Now, this is what they call the super van, and I don't know if this one was steel or not. Again, I'm not here for the exacts. We're here to talk about the idea of it. But the plans that you would get would be something very similar to this, like in style. Very boxy, but very spacey, very futuristic. Very, I don't know what the word is. Like right here, utility. This is another version of what they call the Brubaker box. I guess I wouldn't call it that. I would call it its own thing. In fact, the thumbnail is a version of this with more, lights in the front. I didn't even think to put the image here so I could capture it for you. But just, go back and look at my thumbnail. You'll see it. I'll make it next to the biggest thing on there. My face has to be bigger. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, you would start off, and here's one from the British people. I wouldn't drive that. I'd be too terrified. That's like if you got a lot of land and you just want to have fun or you live in a rural area. Yeah. So what would happen basically is you would get a VW pan, which today still is not an issue because you can buy them. And then you could just look at whatever the laws are in your area for, custom vehicle and how to title one and all that. I mean, you have to go through all these safety things, but as long as you follow those. And it would be an expensive project these days, I suppose. And it would be something that you would do over time. I would hope anyhow. I mean, if you have the money and time to do it right away, God bless you. But you would start off with something like this, some square tubing. It looks like they get some PVC or something here. I doubt that's really PVC. But it looks like it's able to be removed from the top. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just overthinking this thing. But then you would end up with something like this. Now, I know what you're saying, Chris. That's ugly. I think that's fucking cool as hell. But it's fiberglass. It's foam. You could carve it however you like, you know? And as long as it's safe and it falls under certain conditions, it doesn't have to look just like this. But this was a movement in the 60s and 70s of just taking a VW body, removing it from the pan, and building from scratch. Just some square tubing. A little bit of tack welding, you know? Well, no, you'd have to secure it, but you know what I mean. Maybe pay someone else to do the tubing for you. And the rest of it is easy. It's just carving foam, shaping foam, you know, filling the seams, and then hitting it with fiberglass. Fiberglass is paper mache for adults. It's friggin' awesome stuff. Again, this is what most people think of when they think of fiberglass kits, you know. Dropping one of these shells on, or one of these shells onto a VW frame and everything. But here's a better picture of the Brubaker box. It's my understanding that when he was featured in a magazine, an auto magazine, and then the orders started coming in, and he only actually made 3 of these bodies. Apparently they were steel reinforced and all kinds of good stuff. They didn't rattle and squeak and make all the weird noises that something that we would build would sound like, you know. I mean, you gotta think about it. It's a rigid frame with fiberglass on something that's constantly moving and wiggling. So, but apparently these were fairly decent, you know, and people did all kinds of things with them. If we go back to this, you know, you had some that just, you know, made it a cool car. Other ones made it into like a camper. Let's see, there was a couple of different variations in here. Of course, someone's doing their lawn, right? Hopefully you can't hear that. I apologize. You know, like this one here, over here. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, people did all kinds of different. I saw like a pickup truck version of one earlier, and of course now I'm not going to be able to find it. But regardless, let's go back to these, you know, the Brubaker box. You could have made this. I mean, look at those angles and all, round them off. Pretty good stuff. Here's an example of one that I saw that was modern. Still a VW concept, I'm sure. I'm sure the engine's back here. Or maybe it is here. I don't know. But this is a fiberglass body that I think they sculpted themselves. If this is a kit, again, let me know in the comment. We're talking more about the concept of finding plans or just doing it yourself. I'm pretty sure this was just someone was building a trike. And they're like, well, we got to have a body on it, so let's get some foam and some fiberglass and come up with something. These could have been plans from a magazine. Maybe not. I don't know. But the concept of it remains the same. This right here started off as just a VW bug. So welded a bunch of tubes together, put some fiberglass and foam. I keep doing it in the wrong order. Foam on the body, slathering it with fiberglass. In fact, when I had the Avalanche, I was actually thinking about doing that to the back. Making a fiberglass, like, little camper cap for it with some really cool in the back, some swoops and stuff. You know, make it look ridiculous. But, yeah, that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk about. It's one of those arts that I wish we still did. I wish we still had this kind of mentality in this nation. But I understand that, you know, of course, trends change. Cost of doing things like this have changed. There's probably some legal stuff that has changed quite a bit because, God forbid, government just leaves us the frig alone. But either way, just that idea, a summer project, maybe you and your kid, you know? If I had the room here, I would honestly seek one of the... I can't find a damn article. I'm sure some of you would because you're better than me at the whole internet searching thing. But if I could find something like this, I would expand upon it, maybe even a little bit more. But I'm totally down to, you know, weld a couple of tubes together, a couple of square tubing, and, you know, making it reinforced and making it safe. Gluing some foam to it and then fiberglassing it all in. I mean, come on. Who's driving one of these? I would be. You wouldn't be. And I guarantee you, as ugly as it is, it would get a lot of attention. People would be like, that's cool. Once they see what the concept was, they would say, that's cool. I wish shit like this would come back. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments here. We'll go to a bigger screen, even though this isn't my Atari Creep channel. But that's okay. That's okay, because that's more important. I do the Walk to End Alzheimer's, so I believe the link is down in the description. But you can use that to to donate if you'd like. I mean, I would really appreciate it. The walk is in October, and we're almost there. We're almost there. At least get me to $1,000. I'm at like 800 and something right now. So my goal is 2,500, and we've met that goal before, so it's not unrealistic. So I figure with 2 channels, I should at least make $1,000. So use that link down below or that QR code. I try to make it as easy. My father and an uncle passed away of Alzheimer's, which means my aunt basically lost her big brother and her husband. So either way, I would really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of these. Do you know anyone who built one of these? Is there like one in the backyard of some house somewhere in your neighborhood, and it's just been rotting there since maybe the 80s when they just stopped driving it? Either way, I want to know all about it. Have you ever built one? Let me know down in the comments below. If you find an article to one of these plans, let me know. But either way, guys, thank you for watching. Wherever in the world you are, I hope you are doing well. Until next time, take care, keep it real, and bye-bye. Get creative. Do something fun today.